Next week, the tournament to find John Cena's retirement opponent will begin. So in today's Top 10 Thursday, we are going to be giving our top 10 choices, our top 10 picks as to who we think should retire John Cena. I'm Ben Allison here at Wrestling Republic, and joining me today, we have Clark. How are you, Clark?
I'm doing well. I'm fired up to be here. Let's, I love a good top 10 list or a fantasy draft or a Mount Rushmore, all of the above. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. In fact, I'll kick us off out of the gates because the person who I think is my 10th pick is someone who I know you're very high on, right? Maybe that's a little bit of a spoiler for later on, but I know on the dailies you've been talking about him, and that is Sheamus. And look, I love the idea, if John Cena is Intercontinental Champion by then, of the final match being Cena versus Sheamus for the IC title, so Sheamus can finally win it. Here is the thing. Well, here are the two things. One, the more I think about that match, I do have a little bit more of an issue with it, purely because that would then be Sheamus's moment, where in reality it should kind of be John Cena's moment, or maybe it won't feel like Sheamus's moment enough because it feels like John Cena's moment because he's retiring. But then at the same time as well, now that it's a tournament and now they're seemingly not doing Dom versus Cena at Survivor Series, I'm just not really sure if this makes sense anymore, Clark. But what's your pick at 10?
At number 10, I've got Austin Theory. And I think he deserves a spot on the list. I know 10 seems a bit low in the eyes of some people, but I do believe that this could be an opportunity to sort of right some wrongs from 39. From WrestleMania 39. I'm not too excited about the prospect of that one.
I love that shout with Austin Theory, and I'll get into that in just a little bit. But before I do, I've got to give my number 9, because my number 9 is Jacob Fatu. And honestly, the only reason he's not higher up this list is just because he's seemingly injured right now. Hopefully he can come back before then. I don't think he's going to, but it does just suck, because I feel like Jacob Fatu would have been perfect for him. But who's your number 9?
I love the Fatu pick, but at number 9, I've got Jimmy Uso. The only Uso that I have on my list here. I think for Big Jim, it would be huge. Jay has had the spotlight for such a long time. If Jimmy can tell a heck of a story with John Cena, we can sort of elevate him to his own brother's level. And I would enjoy that. And that's why I got Jimmy at 9.
Honestly, I say honestly, that's a good shout. I don't know if it is. Jimmy Uso, John Cena, his final match. What? In your words, what are we doing here?
But if he gets through the tournament, and you can sort of tell a story, he can capture a little bit of that magic that Jay has that he sort of doesn't, and feel like the underdog going into this. It really depends on how the tournament goes. See, I can't answer that question, and that's why I've got him at 9 and not in the top 5.
Okay, fair enough. In at number 8, I have someone you previously mentioned, and that is Austin Theory. Because to your point, a lot went wrong at 39, and I reckon if they did it again now, this match could almost give Austin Theory the chance which John Cena had of a second WWE career after his first one kind of failed a little bit. Something which could really make him feel like the main event star a lot of us think he potentially could be. Something hasn't clicked. Maybe him returning in this tournament and winning it, maybe, just maybe, that could be the option.
I put him at number 10, but I think this is an opportunity to right a wrong, and that's why he deserves to be on the list. So I'm with you. I agree quite a bit, in fact.
What's your number 8?
Oh, you're going to criticize me for this one, Ben. I just want to warn you.
Oh, no.
But at number 8, I have Braun Breaker.
Oh, this low.
And the reason why is this. If Braun Breaker is going to wrestle John Cena, I think the only logical outcome is that he absolutely destroys him and squashes him, and that can't be Cena's last match. It can't be. A back and forth between Cena and Breaker is illogical to me. Is he going to turn back the clock and really be Super Cena against somebody as intense as Braun Breaker? This shortly after we saw what happened with the squash match with Brock Lesnar, and that's why I just can't put Braun higher than this. It's not a knock on Braun Breaker. It's not a knock on John Cena. I don't think it's impossible. That's why he is still on my list. I just think it's difficult.
Do you know what? I don't hate the explanation for it at all. I think to be honest, Braun Breaker and Cena could have a back and forth. I really do, because we've seen it with Braun Breaker and other stars this year. It's not like he's squashing everybody. But at the same time, I do understand your point. In at number 7, I have probably the favorite to win this tournament. The person everybody thinks is going to be, and that's Gunther. I really don't want this to happen, but there is one reason why I'd like it. And the reason I'd like it is an incredibly safe choice. Gunther is one of, if not the best wrestler in the world when it comes to adapting to his opponent's style. John Cena, obviously, he's a lot older now. He's shown he still can go, but Gunther could really cover up his weaknesses quite convincingly. The thing is, Gunther already retired Goldberg. He doesn't need this, but I don't think it's a bad option. I just don't think it's the option anybody really wants.
So you might be stunned by this, Ben, but before I give my number 7, I don't have Gunther on my list. And my reasoning is this. I agree with you on the adapting to styles thing. But John Cena in his last match rules out half of Gunther's moveset. Nobody wants to see John Cena struggle on a Boston Crab. Nobody wants to see John Cena struggle on a sleeper hold. Nobody wants to see John Cena
gonna happen.
Powerbomb multiple times.
And I don't know if I disagree with that, actually. I think getting the crowd really behind Cena during that, I think that would be quite... I reckon you could do it.
5 moves of doom and call it a day? Come on, man. No. This match needs to be more special than that. He needs a dance partner.
I agree, but I don't think the moveset's the issue. I think the issue is just Gunther doesn't need it.
That's why at number 7, I have Carmelo Hayes. Because not only does he need it, but it makes sense. I think Melo, move for move, playing the hits a la AJ Styles, make this a Billy Joel concert, make this the Rolling Stones. I want to hear every song, the B-side, the hits, all of it. Every album, I want to see whatever's left in the tank completely emptied. And Carmelo Hayes, I think, could bring that out of him.
For a very similar reason, at number 6, I've chosen Javon Evans. Talk about elevating somebody at new heights, a young star. I mean, I think this match would be fantastic. I really do think it would turn Javon Evans into a main eventer for the next 2 decades. The only weakness, and it is the only weakness, but it is a big one, and that is his inexperience. There is some risk involved.
There is some risk involved with the inexperience, but we've also seen the guy wrestle Randy Orton. And
that's true.
I might get
that worked out well.
At number 6, though, Ben, oh man, I cannot wait to see your face. At number 6, I have L.A. Knight. Yeah. The reason being, if he wins the tournament in enough time to build the match and get one last great John Cena promo, it's all worth it, and he can wrestle this match. I know he can. And this is the one person on my list who I put on the list to lose to John Cena in his final match.
Because the IWC will love that. They'll help everything tons, won't it?
I don't care. Undertaker won his final match. Sting won his final match. Multiple wrestlers have won their final match. Now, I understand the old tradition and whatnot. I have LA Knight on my list at 6 because I do actually believe that he and Cena could do something really special with the back and forth and with the way that the match ends and all of that leaves LA Knight in a better position than he was before and gives John Cena this absolute magic carpet send-off that he deserves.
Are we sure LA Knight won't have retired by then himself?
Oh, stop it. Knock it off. Knock it off.
The dude's closer to a retirement home than he is to being put over. But, look. In at number 5, I have a much better pick than that. I've got Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker, look, I can understand your point earlier. I also don't think he needs it as much as other young talents, which is why he's at number 5. But I do think he's ready to do it. I do think it would help him. So I do think it would be a sensible choice and a choice I'd have no issue with. But he does have other storylines going on right now, and I don't think he necessarily needs it, even if it would benefit him, which is why he's no higher than 5. But who's your pick?
At number 5, I've got Jacob Fatu. Now, a lot of chips have to fall, but a Fatu encounter with potentially who injured him at being paid off at Survivor Series and then leading to a tournament victory and a vindictiveness going, no, I'm not going to let anybody get in my way. I deserve that spot. Taking that spot and putting on an amazing match with John Cena. You want to talk about making a young talent. That one elevates Fatu even further than he already has himself in just merely over a year of action. in the WWE. I have him that high on my list because I just think it works so well for him, and it's such a shame with the injury factor.
Yeah, no, you are bang on now. I would have loved it to happen. In at number 4, I've got another person you mentioned, and that is Carmelo Hayes. Because at the end of the day, Carmelo Hayes, he's been on the main roster for over a year now. He's not really done much. It's kind of felt like he's just been stuck doing next to nothing. He's not really done anything wrong, but he's still not gotten all the opportunities he deserves. At least he is now on TV weekly, but I mean, he's not really doing much. But to have him be John Cena's final opponent, I mean, that would be a career changer for him. It really would. He's ready for it. He'd put on a banger. I reckon Austin Theory, similar to Austin Theory, where he kind of needs, another shot at life. But the difference is, I think Carmelo Hayes is less risky than Austin Theory because we know Carmelo Hayes can do it. Whether with Austin Theory, it's kind of, we think he can do it, but we're not entirely sure. But who's your 4?
I think that's a great pick, Ben. And obviously, I had Melo at 7 on my list, but at number 4, I've got Javon Evans. This guy doesn't elevate; he levitates. But this match would elevate him even further. And opposite John Cena, I understand the way the RKO finish was supposed to happen when he wrestled Randy Orton wasn't perfect. But
I forgot about that.
I absolutely believe he can handle this. And Javon is just an absolutely special athlete. You do not get athletes of his caliber in professional wrestling often. And I always say, strike while the iron's hot. I was very critical of Joe Hendry yesterday. We did not strike while the iron was hot. Speaking of people that wrestled Randy Orton of late at WrestleMania, and is not on my list either. I want to get ahead.
What do you mean? I think they struck when the iron was hot with him. But anyway, that's a separate conversation.
Now he's in a mixed tag match over on Tuesdays.
Yeah, he's getting Thea Hale over.
This guy had this.
Say her name and she appears. We believe in Thea.
It was the most watched moment in WWE YouTube history at one point, and they had him wrestle Randy Orton and get squashed. That was the peak. That was it. Peak.
Yeah.
And then
I think that was all the peak was ever going to be.
That was it.
But anyway, in at number 3, I've got Dirty Dominic Mysterio because, look, I wish this match was happening at Survivor Series. I want it to happen at Survivor Series, but Dirty Dom versus John Cena has to happen. There's always been a little bit of a rivalry between Cena and Rey Mysterio. They've always acted like friends, but at the same time, there's always been a little bit of friction between the two, right? Growing up, I used to love that, and I was very much Team Rey. But to have now Dirty Dom against John Cena, that feud would be electric. I'm really gutted we haven't had it. I don't think we're going to get it at Survivor Series in San Diego now. So look, for the IC title, his last match, screw it. Just do it. Dirty Dom versus John Cena.
I also, at number 3, have Dirty Dominic Mysterio. And if you're not going to do it at Survivor Series in San Diego, which I kind of am starting to understand, because you know why? Dom Mysterio is Peter Gibbons from Office Space. He doesn't do everything right. He doesn't do what he's supposed to. He doesn't listen to his bosses. He doesn't listen to anybody, but he's the most likable character going right now. Dom's about to be a babyface. He's getting so good at what he does. Dom is too enjoyable. Ringing the bell in the IC title match at Saturday Night's Main Event. Are you kidding me?
It was gold.
I'm afraid if you did John Cena and Dom in San Diego at Survivor Series, that hometown crowd for Dominic Mysterio in the 619, actually in that area code, might cheer Dom over John Cena, and that might be the last crowd left that could possibly cheer against John Cena. And so if you're going to have that match happen, DC actually arguably makes more sense, and that's why I have him at 3.
Okay, fair enough. In at number 2, I'm going back down to NXT, Trick Williams. I think Trick Williams is fantastic, right? I think he's got main event potential, and I think this could be a breakout star-defining moment for him. I mean, look, we said, John Cena said that there's going to be NXT stars involved, and I think Trick Williams probably is the move. I think he'd get a really good match out of Cena, so I'm all for it. But who do you have at 2, Clark?
At number 2, I have Sheamus, who you brought up earlier, and I had to wait this whole time, and I have him that high because obviously it doesn't look like the Dom match in San Diego is in the cards, but that's what I want to happen. So I built my list around that. Dom drops the IC title to Cena. Cena drops it to Sheamus in the final match. please. It
But
just makes
wouldn't that it
so
will
much
overshadow
sense.
one of their moments though. Like that's the issue I've got with it now,
That
the more I've thought about it.
is slightly the issue, other than how you come out of that when Cena is gone on Monday. Because then Sheamus goes, look what I did. I'm the Grand Slam champion. And the next most accomplished guy on the roster is gone. John Cena, boom, and somebody else's music hits. That's not that hard to book on Monday. Somebody with a heck of a resume. Maybe even it's, I don't know, CM Punk or the
Joe
Miz.
Hendry.
Miz, two-time Grand Slam champion, whatever it may be, right? Get him back around the IC title because it somehow works every time. I just like the
That's true.
idea of this. And when it comes to padding stats, I think both Cena and Sheamus deserve this honor. So it's the last scenario where it can actually happen. And that's why logically, genuinely, I'm just coming clean. That's why I've got Sheamus at 2.
The thing is, Sheamus was Edge's last match too. So that's
cool
where I'm
too.
kind of, yeah, but that's where I'm kind of like, I don't know really. I don't know. But anyway, in at number 1, my pick to do it, Clark, you're going to hate this. A lot of people are going to hate this. I don't care because I think it's the move to do. Obafemi. Look, is this going to be a little bit dominant? Sure. Will John Cena get his 5 moves of doom in? Absolutely, right? This is not going to be a squash. But after about, 12, 15 minutes, it's a Saturday night's main event after all. Obafemi picking up the win, his debut on the main roster being this tournament. I think it will immediately make him a main event star. And Obafemi isn't somebody you can bring up in the low mid card and build up. He has to be the guy from the get-go, right? Either the IC champion or the US champion like Gunther did before going to the main event scene, or being thrown in the deep end. And honestly, Obafemi, John Cena, before then doing Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, both of those things I would do. I think they're the right choice for both. And Obafemi, I think he's going to get a monster push. And I think he's got the most to gain from it from everybody. But also, he's ready.
I love Obafemi and have been the biggest champion of Obafemi you've ever seen on Tuesday nights for so long. But he's not on my list. And the reason being, I don't want him to be so closely tied to John Cena, actually, when he's brought up. That's a selfish thing, Ben. It's nearly impossible for me to explain, but I just, for Oba, there's something about the idea of forever being tied to the John Cena retirement match that I don't love with Obafemi. I want something almost even more explosive, like join the main roster and squash Bronson Reed, squash Braun Breaker, squash somebody young
but
and
Cena's
big and
way
athletic
bigger
really
than
quick.
that.
He is, but we know it's his last match. And I also selfishly as a fan want to be able to enjoy that last match fully. I don't want to, Obafemi opposite John Cena with the imposing nature, the move set that he has, it's just going to make you nervous till you get the 5 moves of doom. And I think that we can do some more than that with another performer on NXT, and that's why at number 1, I have Trick Williams here. This is the ultimate opportunity. Trick has been main roster ready for as long as Obafemi, and we're splitting hairs here. They're both good picks. But Trick Williams, athletically speaking, the range that he's shown both heelish and babyface-wise, people want to chant whoop that Trick. I think when it comes to main roster time, we work him back into being a babyface. I don't think Cena needs to face a monster heel in his final match. I actually think that would be too much. And Trick Williams opposite him, the way they could just really, really put on a heck of a back and forth type match too, with the 5 moves of doom, play the hits, maybe even a couple more moves to honor some people. Cena breaks out some things we haven't seen before because that's been exciting.
Yeah.
I think Trick Williams as the B side of that match as opposed to Obafemi just makes slightly more sense. But I don't, despite not even having Oba on my list, that's for selfish reasons. I don't think it's a bad pick, Ben. Genuinely.
Yeah. I just think for your concerns, you could say the exact same thing about Trick Williams.
Probably. Trick is just a little bit more agile, and size-wise, it's a little bit more comparable. And a little bit more believable. I also think he's capable of selling. As great as Oba is at selling for his size, Trick is underrated, actually, at selling.
Oh no,
for his
he is
size
good
as
at
well.
selling.
He's
Yeah.
very good. And I do want to see a lot of that for John Cena in his final match.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, there we have it, guys. Our lists. Let us know yours down below and make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you never miss any of our videos. Thank you, Clark, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.